Welcome, fifth graders. Welcome back to RPS at home. I hope you're doing well. I hope you're safe. This week for ELA, we are going to be focusing on 5.6G, which is locate information to support opinions, predictions, and conclusions in a nonfiction text. For day one, our focus, our target is going to be I can identify an opinion, inference, or conclusion. So this is our anchor chart that we're going to be looking at. I think my picture is kind of covering one corner of it, but I'll fill you in on what that says. In the top left corner, we have opinion. So an opinion is a statement of personal feeling or belief. So from previous lessons, you probably remember facts and opinions. And an opinion is the opposite of a fact, right? A fact is something that can be proven, that is true. An opinion is something that you feel or believe. Next, we'll look at inference. An inference is an educated guess made while or during reading. So I'm sure you've made inferences before. It's when you take clues from the text and you form an idea that's not stated in the text. So maybe instead of the author saying it is raining today, maybe they said the students all walked into the classroom with raincoats and umbrellas dripping on the floor. We didn't hear the author explicitly say that it was raining, but we can put together what's happening using what we know and what the text says. Now, the part that my video is probably blocking says drawing conclusions. So conclusion is right down here. Drawing conclusions is an overall opinion formed after reading a passage based on your inferences. So I'd like you to notice that the words opinion and inference are both used in the definition for drawing a conclusion. We need both of those things in order to come to a good conclusion, which, if you look over here, we do after reading. Opinions we make throughout the reading, inferences we do during the reading, and conclusions we make after the reading. Now down here, in the middle of your anchor chart, you'll see what all of our graphic organizers are going to look like for the week. They're very simple. If you don't have a printer at home, you'll still be just fine. I've made up some of my own graphic organizers. You're not even going to need one today, but you might need a few throughout the week. And that's literally, you just draw 3 rectangles and then we'll fill in the blanks together. But let's focus on our anchor chart. So the first word there, you might be thinking, what is that? That word is schema. Maybe you've heard it before. Schema is your prior knowledge or your background knowledge. Very simple. It's just a big word for things that you already know. Now, if we look over in the second box for the graphic organizer, I tried to tier it and put it in the same colors so it would be easy for you to read. So let's look at opinion first. You would use your schema plus your feelings about the text. Now, this is still going to be text evidence. You still need to bring a quote from the text to create your opinion because it still has to be based on facts. So you're doing schema plus your feelings about the text equals your opinion. Then, if we're looking at inference, we have schema plus text evidence or facts equals your inference. Then we have schema plus your inferences from the text equals your conclusion, okay? And the reason why we want to be good at all of these skills is because good readers want to be active readers. We want to think about what we are reading. We're not just looking at words on a page. We want to be able to deepen our understanding of what the text is saying. Now we're going to take a look at our article for today. Okay. Our title of our article today This Alabama student names NASA's first Mars helicopter. So here we have a picture of the Mars helicopter. And as we're reading today, we are going to just kind of be thinking and brainstorming since this is our introduction. But as we're reading today, I want you thinking about opinions that you have as we read. I want you thinking about inferences that you have to make as you're reading. And I want at the end for you to draw a conclusion in your head. And we're going to work on a fun activity when we get back to our slideshow. All right. Later this summer, NASA will send a robotic helicopter to Mars for the first time. The space agency recently announced that it had chosen to name the helicopter Ingenuity. The word means having the quality of being clever or original. The suggestion for the name came from Alabama high school student Beneza Rupani. Rupani is a junior at Tuscaloosa County High School in Northport, Alabama. Her suggestion was one of 28,000 names suggested as part of NASA's Name the Rover essay contest. The contest was open to K-12 students across the United States. So already I'm thinking that this was a very big contest, and it's very surprising, which is an opinion of mine, it's surprising that this one student was chosen. Maybe I could even say it was exciting that this one student was chosen out of 28,000. Really cool I got to be a part of something like this. Ingenuity is key to allowing us to experience the wonders of space exploration, Rupani wrote in her essay. Ingenuity allows people to do amazing things. It allows us to expand our horizons to the edges of the universe. So I'm checking back before. It does say there is an essay contest. So I am just double checking. Yep, it says this is something that Rupani, the student, wrote in her essay. That's very cool. A Mars rover named Perseverance will bring ingenuity to Mars. The rover is a vehicle that travels Mars on the ground. The name Perseverance was also submitted as part of a student essay contest. NASA later decided to pick a name for the helicopter from the essays too. NASA Administrator Jim Bridenstine says, Ingenuity is a fitting name for the helicopter. Alabama Senator Richard Shelby also congratulated Rupani. It was really cool I got to be a part of something like this, Rupani says. Testing how well it can fly on Mars. Ingenuity has already completed testing in a NASA facility. Next, it will be attached to the belly of the Perseverance. The rover will be sent to Mars in July or August. After it arrives on the red planet, the helicopter will remain under a covering. This will keep it protected until the aircraft can be launched. Once the helicopter is in use, NASA will test how well it can fly on Mars during a 31-day window. This year's mission is part of a program that also includes missions to the moon. These moon missions will prepare for a possible human exploration of Mars. NASA plans to land the first woman and the next man on the moon in 2024. The agency wants to set up a continued human presence on and around the moon by 2028. From the moon, it will be easier to send astronauts to Mars. That's all very interesting. So let's take a look back at our slideshow. Now, I went ahead and popped our graphic organizer on here again, just to remind you. So we're looking at opinion, inference, and conclusion. Remember, this is just generally adding text evidence to what you know to create this skill. So we're going to have statements pop up at the bottom here of, sorry, my dog is walking around, pop up at the bottom here of the slideshow. And first, For the first three, I am going to use what I know about opinions, inferences, and conclusions. I'm actually going to use my anchor chart to help me as well. And I'm going to sort these into the category they belong in. And then you all will have a chance to do it yourselves. Okay, so this first one says, Ingenuity is a good name for a space helicopter. So I have three options. I'm thinking that this statement talks a lot about how someone feels about the text. It's their opinion, I'm thinking. So let's check on the next slide. Oh, and look at that. The statement appeared under opinion, so I know that it is in fact an opinion. Our next statement is already at the bottom. It says, Veneza was excited for her submission to be chosen by NASA. Okay. So it's not really talking about the reader's feelings. It's not talking about my feelings, but it is talking about a person from the text feelings. And if I'm using what I know and what happened, Veneza was one of 28,000 submissions for this contest. So if I use that text evidence, I think I'd be making an inference to say that Veneza was excited for her submission to be chosen by NASA. I was right, yay. All right, and the last one that I'll do, it says Veneza will remember this moment for the rest of her life. Now, if I'm using my schema of what happened to Veneza, I think there were several different moments in the text that I could use to support the idea that Veneza will remember this moment for the rest of her life. So given that there are several points of the text that I would use, I'm thinking that this is a conclusion. Let's check. Oh yeah, I was right. Okay, so now it's your turn. I am going to read the statement to you. I'll pause for a moment, let you think, let you get your answer at home, and then I'll reveal the answer to you. Okay. It was difficult to be chosen as the winner of NASA's contest. Okay, I'll give you about 30 seconds just to think about what your answer might be. Okay, do you have your answer? I hope you wrote it down. All right, let's check to see. That belongs under inference. If I go back into the text, I can find text evidence to support this idea. Also, on top of that, it's not an opinion because it's not something the reader is feeling, and it's not a conclusion because there is one specific point from the text that I would reference to support this evidence. Conclusions usually involve several different inferences. Let's look at your new statement. It says, ingenuity is a better name than perseverance. Ooh. I'll give you a few seconds to get your answer at home, and then I will reveal the answer. Oh, my tongue. Well, I hope you've gotten your answer written down. So, Poppy. Sorry. I hope you've gotten your answer written down. Let's check to see what category it belongs under. That was an opinion. So that was clearly something that the reader would be thinking. Okay, that is something that is not fact, it is an opinion. All right, let's look at our next statement. The last statement for you says, NASA likes to include students in the process of creating their spacecrafts. I wonder where this one belongs. I'll give you a few seconds to get your answer written down. Okay, you got it? All right, let's check to see where it belongs. It belongs under conclusion. There are a couple different instances in the text that I could use to support this idea. One, Vanessa was able to name the first Mars helicopter, and they mentioned that another student was able to name the rover that takes the helicopter to Mars. So since I have multiple inferences that I can use to support this, I'm going to go ahead and put it in conclusion. All right, so that is the end of day one. Just to remind you that our target was I can identify an opinion, inference, or conclusion. This is so important to be a good reader because you want to be able to dive in deep to your text. You don't want to have just words on a page in front of you. You want to be able to think and connect to your text. So being able to form an opinion or an inference or a conclusion are all things that help you think deeply and be active readers. And this is going to help your comprehension a lot. I hope you enjoyed our lesson today, and I will see you tomorrow. I hope you stay safe, stay healthy. Bye.